Hello.
Oi.
How are you, mate?
Good, sound good. Nice
Good,
and
good.
cosy here, bud. Sun's just come out.
Hello,
All
good
good.
evening to everybody on West Ham Network. Thank you for joining us. First of a new titled show called Old School Hammers with obviously myself, Budgie, and wrong way again, for God's sake, I keep doing it. And my pal from over the water there in Australia, Kieran, aka Bert and Ernie. Well, how's your week been, mate? To start off with, let's have a bit of personal info.
Ooh, what personal info? Why you want me?
No, I'm just
No,
saying,
don't
how's
have
your
that.
week been, for God's
Oh,
sake,
it's been
mate?
shite. Absolute
Has it?
shite. There you go.
Oh,
No, I've been
no.
all right, mate. I've been
Oh,
busy around my mate's place and yeah, I've been running around a bit. I haven't seen a lot of football stuff since the game of the weekend, which was a relief. That was a relief. So it was nice to have a good weekend for a change for football wise, and enjoyed it.
yeah,
So it was a start to the week and been busy, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my week started off with Friday last week. Really, I had a bit of a crap day. And then had to go to work, and the crap day got worse, and thought I was having another bloody heart attack. Kind of was getting ready to cancel my weekend because I had a ticket to the Wolves game, and instead of cancelling it, I decided, no, I'm actually going to go. Bugger this! I didn't want to. I didn't want to miss the game, So basically, I was all right by about 2 or 2 in the morning. So got up, milled about for a couple of hours, few hours in the morning, went to the game, got straight on it, didn't I? Knocking them back, I was having a party. Well, you got to when you're on match day, ain't you?
Oh, of course you do, mate. Well, part of the fun, isn't it?
Yeah, and we had a great day. I met up with Happy and Bose gave me a lift to the stadium because there were no trains. Well, there was a limited service, and the last train left at 5:15. Our kickoff was at 5:30. So, so he said to me, "Look, come and meet me in X area, and I'll come and pick you up, and you can come to the stadium with me." So that's what I did, Right, let's just acknowledge the guys and girls that are in the chat. Ralph enjoying the sun. Hello, Ralph. He says he's stoned, living in Spain. He will try to stay awake. It's 1 a.m. now. Okay, well, thanks for coming in. Hope you're still with us, son. Hammerhead, oi, Budgemeister, and Mr. Upside Down, Kieran. 2 West Ham legends, not players, but fans, still legends to me. Hope you're both well. Big up. You're done, no. Right, well, I don't do the Peach talk the way Peach does.
No.
Don't sound
thanks for that, Hammerhead.
Always appreciate it. Yeah, you're always in the chats, mate, and it's really appreciated. And yeah, we're going to have to hook up properly, Hamed, even if it is virtually, online, cyberly. That don't actually exist, that word, do it? Cyberly? Right, in cyberspace. Neil from Down Under, evening all from rural South Australia. It's 8:30 a.m. on Thursday morning. Same for
Yeah.
you, Kieran. Well, no,
No,
it's
it,
9
actually,
a.m.
but it's not.
It's
It's 8
8
o'clock for
a.m.
me.
8
He's always a
a.m.
half
Yeah,
an hour. He's always a half an hour in front of me, you know, because
yeah, yeah.
they change their clocks in South Australia and Queensland don't. So
Right,
they've
right,
always got
right.
a time difference.
Queensland. Right. Hammerhead says personal info like sort code, account number, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's about right, Hammerhead. Oh god, it's jumped.
James Lee.
Oi, Burton Ernie, Mr. Bomb. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Glad you could join the chat. Sharky, it's time for Sesame Street. Yep, you know that. Trouble is, Big Bird don't want to appear. He's shy. I'll say he.
No,
Uh,
Joan.
Hi guys, great new show. Thank you. I'm hoping it is going to be great. We're just going through some of the chat, Joan, and then we'll get on with some actual content. Hopefully, Happy Amaret's in the house. Oi, hammer,
Jake.
hammer alloys. Well, hammer alloys. Oh, got you now. Yeah, not sabloid. All right, okay. Thanks, Hammerette. You'd love to confuse me. Alan Dunn, morning, gentlemen. Hello to all the hammers around the world. Where are you, Alan? You must be in South Pacific as well, then. Australia or New Zealand somewhere, maybe. If it's morning for you, maybe even no, Thailand would be afternoon now, wouldn't it? In Thailand.
No, they're early morning. Probably about 3 in the morning.
All right. Okay. Happy says hello to Alan. Who we got there? I can't see because it's jumping. Patrick. Good evening, Patrick. Good. Thank you for joining us, sir. Apart from straight roads, peace, underground heating, and aqueducts, and all that other shit, what have the Romans ever done for us?
Aqueduct.
Yeah. Underground heating, aqueducts, straight roads, peace. Oh, you
Yeah.
forgot sanitation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
I,
a great
I,
scene
I,
in
I
Life of
actually,
Brian. That was
yeah,
a
yeah.
great scene.
I stole that line from Gatesy about 10 minutes ago. Great, yeah, great film that is. Life of Brian, that's right. Daniela's in the house. Daniela Stewart, thank you for joining us, Daniela. Evening all, she says. Going to the game Sunday, bud. Give me a time and a place and I'll be there, mate. I am going to the game thanks to somebody very, very legendary. That's all I'm going to say. I have got a ticket for Sunday. Yes, so I will be
Good.
there. Listen, Hamhead, I'm always in the Carpenters at least 2 hours before kickoff. So if it's a Sunday, I don't even know what time kickoff. Let's say it's a 2 o'clock kickoff. The latest I'll be getting into the Carpenters is 12 o'clock. But I will be with Happy Amaret, no doubt. Oh no, I won't, because tomorrow she's going on holiday, I believe. So I will be there, but I will be possibly with a variety of waifs and strays. But hey, yeah, come along. I want to meet you. I want to meet up with you. That'd be great. Savaloy HH. Yeah, she says Hammerloys because she's like that. She likes to change things. Who else? Have we got anybody else in the chat I haven't mentioned yet? Not yet. No. I'm not going to read out all of these comments just now because I don't want to. Anyway. Right. Okay. So, as you can see from the title underneath us and the image on the right, which is partially obscured by that, which is also down in the left-hand corner anyway. Mr. Moyes, credit in the bank. Kieran, there is obviously there's rumours and speculation that David Moyes' job is in the balance. How do you feel? Do you feel that he's earned enough credit with the club to be given until at least the World Cup? Or, what's your view on it, mate? I don't want to influence your
Yeah.
spiel.
Well, I've never been a great Moyes fan, from the beginning. But what he did do for us is he gave me about 18 months of enjoying watching West Ham after the Pellegrini era, which was pretty dire most of the time. And I enjoyed it, and I sort of had to give him a lot of respect for that and a lot of credit, because he's not the manager I wanted. But I think since last January, that enjoyment in the Premier League anyway has dropped off, and our tactics are still the same. We still push on with his defensive first type of football. Now, when everyone's firing, when Antonio was scoring, when Lingard came in and Souček was joining in with goal, we were scoring goals, mate. We really were. For a counter-attacking team, we were making a lot of inroads in the team and having some great wins along the way. Now, since last January, that's tailed off. Now we can put that last bit, and I believe he lost a lot of people when he didn't sign anyone in January, and that really annoyed me too, because I think that would have guaranteed us Europa League football, in my opinion. But we still got Conference League football. And the start of this season has been poor, very poor, and he continued to pick the same players and play the same way. And I think Everton, I thought, was a crucial game for him to change it up, and he didn't.
Yeah, agreed.
And even then, mate, I started to go, well, this is the sort of David Moyes I didn't want at the beginning, that he's not capable to switch it and see what's wrong and maybe see what players are in form and out of form. And I believe that the Wolves game was crucial to him, not just with the fan base, but with the team. He had, if he had gone with the same, and we'd lost that, I think his job was definitely on the line. And I could see why people would want him out. But he did change it. Boy, it could have changed it more, but lucky enough, or not lucky enough, maybe give him credit for that, Souček and Bowen come good. They both had cracking games, but I thought Souček.
Well, come on, Kieran. In your art of arts, you always knew them games were in those guys anyway, and they were going to come up at some stage. Better sooner rather than later, of course. But look, we've had many, many great players that have had less than decent games, and you've got to expect them to have a dip in form. I mean, look, I mean, even people like, Zinedine Zidane and Messi and Ronaldo and Cristiano Ronaldo, they've all had a dip in form at some point in their career, every single one of them. And the management and the fans have always kept their faith in them because they know what they're capable of doing on their day. And, we know that of Souček, we know that of of Bowen. It was like, it's the players like Arthur Masuaku, unfortunately, that we never really had the faith in of them really turning it on when it was necessary. Fredericks, those players, the ones basically, Yarmolenko, all the guys we moved on in the summer, they were all the ones that I would say that maybe about 80% of the fan base had no faith in to be able to turn around the game if they came off the bench or if they started or whatever. Now we've got a full squad of players, starting 11 and bench, that you can look at and go, actually, that works. That really works. There's a decent player for every single slot on the bench and the pitch now, and more than one option in some cases.
And this is where
you know,
I think Moyes cocked up in the Everton game, because he had that then and he didn't use it to start the game. He
yeah,
just went
yeah,
with the play. Soufal was out of form. Soucek was out of form. Bowen,
mm,
and they continue to be in that game. And that's where I think Moyes made a mistake, a big mistake there. He
yeah,
rectified it
yeah,
to a point against Wolves. But even so, even though he changed personnel, he really didn't change tactics. We really were doing the same thing. And in parts of that game, we weren't great, and parts of it we were really good.
No, in parts of that game, we looked like we were going to get put really under pressure.
Yeah,
Really under
exactly. You know,
pressure. You know?
so it's one game, and it looked better. I think the biggest change he made, and the one I wanted against Everton, was the Kehrer to go to right back and bring Dawson in at the back.
Mm.
You know, and he did. And I think Kehrer and Bowen then linked up better. I think that helped Bowen on the day. I think
Yeah,
it helped
yeah,
Soucek. That whole right side had a good game.
yeah, they did.
And
They did
I
indeed.
think Kehrer was the difference. And plus, then once you've got Dawson there, who, you know, will die for you, then you've got another aerial threat at the other end as well, when we're at
Yeah,
set pieces. So
yeah.
that was a
So
positive.
anyway, in answer to the question below you, David Moyes, does he have credit in the bank, or
I think,
how do you
yeah,
see it?
I think as a fan base, I don't do this what a lot of supporters do, like Moyes in, Moyes out. I've never been Moyes in or Moyes out. What I judge it by is what I'm watching on the pitch. If I'm enjoying a manager and the team, you know, if he's putting it together and we're enjoying that football, that manager stays. As soon as I'm not
Yep.
enjoying it, I don't have any allegiance to that manager. I want to watch West Ham and enjoy it. You know, it's not always about that result. I don't want to do what Allardyce did and play crap football and then nick a game 1-0. And he justifies that because he got 3 points. That's no good to me. I want to enjoy it. I'm not, you know, a lot of people will just take results whatever way they come. I won't.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
enjoy it. And as soon as
So
I
in
stop
summary,
enjoying it, I don't want
yeah.
the manager there.
So in summary, then David Moyes has earned enough credit with you
Yeah.
as a supporter to have it till when?
I think it goes game by game, Marge. I think like the Wolves was massive. It was a massive. He had to change it. He did. So that gives him a bit of credit in the bank that he did do it, and we got through it, and we won it against a very poor side. It has to be said. But I do believe
And
that weekend.
does he still have credit in the bank from the last 2 seasons with you, though?
I think, yeah, I think he does. Like any manager, you have credit in the bank, but that credit disappears very, very quickly if you
It
spend
does.
180 million and you're not getting results, or your team's, you know, or your tactics are wrong, or you're playing well.
You're not,
That credit
or
can
you're not
disappear.
using a quid's worth of them players.
It can disappear real quickly, mate. And
Yeah,
fans are fickle. They want to see
yeah,
results. They want to see good performances.
yeah,
And we've got, the trouble is with the last 2 seasons, we've got bigger expectations now, haven't we? And
yeah, yeah.
we
Yeah,
expect
but
better.
you know, I mean, we've kind of earned the right to have those expectations, really,
Yeah, and
Kieran.
so is Moyes. He's
Especially,
probably earned the right to
yeah,
stay.
especially those of us that can grow a beard that goes grey. You know, I mean, I don't mean to be rude to anybody, because anybody that supports West Ham has got the right to feel how they want to feel. But what I'm saying
Yeah,
is us guys, we've, since the 1980 FA Cup, what have we really had to celebrate? You know, we've not had anything to celebrate, to be fair. You know, in
no,
Toto, yeah, okay, that's probably about, you know, it's worth shaking some coffee beans at, you know. You know, the Betway Cup, I mean, I think West
don't
Ham Clips
mention
has
that.
got it.
Please don't mention
Yeah, I think West Ham Clips has got it right about that competition, or that lack of competition. But, you know, I think we've earned the right to have bigger expectations after the 2 seasons that we've had. You know, we've been a little bit of a
that.
boomerang team in recent history.
You could look at it then, Budge, that Moyes is a victim of his own success, because now you know,
Exactly.
we've got 6th, we've got 7th, Well, Moyes, mate, we want to push on from there. We want
Yeah,
4 because
yeah.
that's what
We
we're
want
making fun.
fifth
Now
or
we want
fourth
4.
now. Yeah,
And when you're
yeah,
sitting in the bottom 3, you go, Moyes, what's going on? You've got to go, mate. You're out. Fuck off. You're shit. But
yeah.
he's not shit.
All right.
But
Okay. So
he's just
on
got to
that,
get it right.
there's also this as well, Kieran. What to do with Benny? Now, David Moyes used him right at the beginning of the season, and he looked lively, he looked energetic, he looked useful. In fact, I would go so far as to say that for the first 3, maybe 4 games of the season, Benny's looked like the best player on the pitch for West Ham.
Yeah.
What to do with him? I mean, like Moyes clearly knows there's a talent there. I mean, he Moyes ain't got to where he is without
Well,
being able to identify talent.
he's
I think
yeah.
there's
He's
got to be
another
something
reason.
to do with the connection between the two guys.
Yeah, it's see, this is the Ben Rama situation is another thing that gives ammunition to the Moyes out people, because
Mm.
I thought Ben Rama had done my head in last year. It was so frustrating, and I like to use my eyes
Inconsistent,
when it
yeah,
comes to Ben Rama. He's very inconsistent. He lost the ball too much. His delivery weren't good enough, and then people will quote you his stats. They look good, but I use my eyes, not fucking stats. And he was
yeah.
frustrating, and I slaughtered him. But this season, couldn't believe I was praising him. And when he was on the bench, I wanted him to come on because he does look
I
like the
know.
player we'd bought at the beginning.
Yeah,
And all
yeah,
of a
yeah.
sudden, he's doing well, and then Moyes drops him. And you think,
Mm.
wow, everyone believes that he's a confidence player. Well, you've just shot that right in the foot,
Yeah,
haven't you? You've just done him. And this
yeah,
is why you get people going, well, there you go, this is Moyes. You know,
yeah,
he don't know what he's doing
yeah.
because he hasn't helped Ben Rama. And it seems to me to have that start where everyone else was struggling, the likes of Bowen and Soucek and Soufal and Fornals weren't playing at their best. He was sort of head and shoulders above them at that stage as an attacking threat.
Mm.
And to
Yeah.
drop him, that will tell you, well, what are you doing, Moyes? For Benny now, myself, if you're not going to play him, Moyes, then you should look to move him on because his stock will be still high. You'll
Can't do
still get
that
your
now
money.
until
And I
after the
mean
World
that.
Cup and
And I'm
Christmas.
not knocking Benny for this because there's nothing he's done wrong for me at this moment for this season. I'm for his own sake, Ben
Yeah,
Rama, and
yeah,
his
yeah.
career, he
I
might
mean,
be
look,
better somewhere else and not under Moyes.
the guy was absolutely electric at Brentford, which is why we
Mm.
looked at him. We picked him up. We brought him in on loan, I believe, and then made the loan deal permanent. Sorry, within a couple of months. I think it was. I think it was
Yeah, we sort of
it was
talked about
almost
it.
instantaneous, in my opinion. It felt like it was anyway. But he was electric. He was absolutely incredible at Brentford. And then, yeah, as you say, a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's a confidence player and this and that." Hey, to hell with that! You're a professional. You should be
Mm.
good at your craft, regardless of whether you're confident or not. You're not going to lose a finger or your arm, or you might get a broken bone if you're not careful, but you're not going to have your hand chopped off or whatever if you're not confident, are you? All you're going to do is mess up with the ball, basically.
He
So I
done that.
think confidence in a player, yes, it can help, but I think that's overstated. I really do, because you're a bloody professional at the end of the day. Get on and do your job. That's
Mm.
what I say.
Yeah,
You're
but
paid a handsome fee for going out there and kicking a bit of leather. Get out there and
yeah, but
bloody do it.
that's fine when you're on the pitch. But to play well then, Budge, and then get dropped, to me doesn't make sense. Then
Yeah, yeah,
that would dent your confidence because
yeah,
that would think that you're not in the manager's plans, even though you're doing what you have to do.
yeah,
So to me, it is. I think it was a bad move by Moyes. Another mistake that you can point
mate,
at.
a huge one, a huge mistake. Listen, I look, as you say, I was never really Moyes in or Moyes out. In fact, when we appointed Moyes the first time, I was very shocked and I wasn't very inspired by that. And then when we signed Pellegrini to replace him, I was a little more inspired because the man had won Premier League and other titles as well.
Right. Yeah, but I didn't want them. Look,
I didn't
said
want
I
him.
didn't want Pellegrini either.
I didn't either, and I was a little more inspired. But then when we
I don't think.
re-signed Moyes back, I was like, Jesus,
Yeah,
we've only just got rid of him. What are we doing? You know? Okay, yeah, he done all right. He kept us up. But hey, why are we going backwards? That was my point. Why are we going backwards?
I think that's all we could have flagged at the time.
It would be like, our new signing in January, on the 1st of January, our new signing, Carlton Cole. Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Loved him when he was a player. Loved him, but, you don't want to bring him back.
No, we're all sort of wrong about that. I don't think with Moyes. I don't think any of us are infused about him having him back, but he did do a great job, and he did turn it around, and he did stabilise the club and stabilise the team, and had two cracking seasons where to finish where we did.
Kieran,
so
change hats, put your managerial hat on. Ben Rama, January. What are you going to do with him?
Well, if I was the manager, I might have played him more and used him more. But under Moyes, I think he's better off selling him. Because I just don't think he's going to use him enough. I don't think he's going to get the best out of him. I don't think he'll use him enough.
Fair shout. And I'm getting a notification here. Look, we've got 75 new comments, and there was about 30 that I didn't get round to. So let's see if there's anybody new in the chat. I know most of you guys are going to be chatting to each other. So I'm going to ask you now, if you want us to actually notice your comment, either put a capital Q at the beginning or in capital letters write "oi" or something, just so that I can notice them. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of skip. Oh, so look, there's one. No, she's not going on holiday tomorrow. It's on Monday. So you will be at the game. Excellent. I will meet you at Stratford Station because we need to get another Carpenter's Bridge picture. We've only got 3 so far, and we've been to many, many more games than that. And is he in the chat then? Because Happy's talking to Christ.
Oh yeah, probably hello, isn't it?
Yeah. I would. Oh mate, that's very kind of you. I'm sorry I haven't seen your comments, Christ, but thanks for popping in. Well done. Excuse me. Right, chatty. Sharky's in the house. I didn't know you were in. Sorry, mate. I did see it kind of late, but thank you for joining us, Sharky. 30 months? What's 30 months? Oh, I'm not going to go into that. Right, okay. Happy says, I think the Fulham game will be a big indication of where he wants to take us in the future. He's seen making the changes, moving positions, and dropping players made a big difference. Indeed, all of that. I agree with that. Other than your spelling, because it's atrocious. There's just C at the beginning of changes. No, I agree with that. He has seen it, but Mr. Moyes, is he going to be stubborn Moyes, or is he going to be, Moyes of movement? I doubt that he's going to move very much. Oh gosh, look, there you go. Oh my God, my spelling is atrocious tonight. Very nice, and she's going to Tenerife. Look at that. Right, Hammerhead says that Moyes missed an opportunity to establish ourselves as a top 6 side. he just sat there and didn't sign anyone. Too little, too late for him. So what you're saying then, Hammerhead, is find a replacement as soon as possible. Yeah. Actually, I know that's what you're saying because I've kind of had conversation with you about Mr. Moyes before in the chats, and I know that you're not very enamoured with him. Right, Alan Dunn, what are you saying, mate? I still think our form dropped off when Antonio started playing internationals for Jamaica. Good point. Very good point. The travel seemed to take its toll on him. The same thing with Soucek and then Soufal's injury. Yeah, and there's been the illnesses as well because both of the Czechs have had illnesses other than injury as well. So all of that plays a major part, Alan. Yeah, you're right. You're quite right. All of that does play a major part. All right. Okay. Oh God, here we go again. Look. Hammerhead says the team has outgrown Moyes. We are now a attacking side, but Moyes doesn't play that kind of football. Move him on, bring in an attacking manager. So who would you like to see come in then, Hammerhead? I probably won't get to it for about 45 minutes, but you know. Neil from Down Under. He likes that fella you like. I can't say Postacoglu. Yeah, Postacoglu would be my choice,
Yeah,
and not
same.
because he's Australian, but because he always likes to play good attacking football. Well, that's a
Absolutely.
guy that you've spoken about a number of times in the past, Kieran.
Yeah.
So give us a little rundown on Mr. The
Well,
Australian fella.
yeah, Ange Postecoglou, mate. He's a big Ange. He's here in Australia. He was in the A League. He managed Brisbane Roar, won the premiership with them. He managed, I forget which Melbourne team. He won the premiership with them. He then took over the Australian side. He won the Australian equivalent of the Europa League. No, not the European,
Yeah,
the Euros. He won the equivalent of that in Asia, all on South Pacific. He won that.
yeah.
He
It's
got
this the Asia
Australia.
Pacific competition, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got Australia to the World Cup, and then he walked away because he had differences with the management of Australia Football Association. He walked
yeah,
away and didn't go. They put another manager in at the World Cup. And then he went to the J League in Japan, and I think it was Yokohama, and he won the league there as well. I know it's a
right.
great effort there. That tough league, that Japanese league. That's where Arsene Wenger cut his teeth before he came to Arsenal. And he won the league there. And now he's at Celtic, and he's won the league there as well. Everywhere he's been, he's played good, attacking, exciting football, and he's won. So that's
Okay.
a manager I would consider. Is it a punt for West Ham? Of course it would be. If it came to the crunch with Moyes, if it came to that crunch, but
Is it such a punt knowing that he's got international experience? He's won leagues all around the world,
yeah,
and
well, he
and
hasn't
he's
got his
won
Premier
he's
League
won one
experience.
of our domestic leagues.
Mm.
In reality, the Scottish League is part of the UK, isn't it? So it's a UK domestic league, not English, but
Yeah,
UK domestic league. So is it such a big punt then? I mean, I know very little about the guy. I can't even pronounce his bloody name. But if and look, like I said, I'm neither Moyes in or out, and I think that he should be given till at least the World Cup to change things around.
I think he will be.
Um,
Much.
um, but should we hear during the World Cup break that David Moyes has parted company with the club, um, then I don't think that this Ange Postecoglou, I don't think that he did. I get that right? I bloody did. I don't think that he would be such a massive punt for us.
Maybe,
Because
maybe not.
he's got a vast amount of experience, clearly from what you've
Oh
said.
yeah, he's
He's
got a
won
great
the
resume.
Scottish League. Okay, he's won the Scottish League with Celtic. That's not such a difficult thing to do.
Well, it probably
But
was at the time. When he took him over.
but the
So,
thing what I'm saying is though, is you can take a winning team and put a new manager in and create a losing team, even if the manager is a winner, if you know what I mean. So it has to be there has to be some kind of, for want of a better word, chemistry between the manager and the players, and clearly there is that at West Ham right now,
what
which
I
is why
would
I'm
like, Budge, it's his style. Like Neil says there, it's his style of football, mate. His style of football is attacking football, entertaining football,
yeah.
and one of the reasons,
Who would you compare his style of football to?
God, almost Kevin Keegan, but no, Kevin Keegan was all out, not hit attacking. He's not quite that, Ange, but he does play good, entertaining football. He really does.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, he is a strong character because one of the reasons he walked away from the Australian job and not go to the World Cup with them is because the Australian FA or whatever wanted to keep the likes, I think it was Viduka and Kuehl, who were at the end of their careers, where he wanted to promote the youth. He wanted to build a squad over our young players and not necessarily pick the big names just because they were big names, had great careers. He wanted to keep building, and
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of pressure on him to play them older players because of their names. And so he went, "No, bollocks, I'm off. I'm not doing
Mm-hmm.
it. So I'll pick the team that I want to pick."
Yeah.
And
Good
I
evening,
mean, that's what
Robert. Thank you for joining us, mate. I've just seen your names popped up in the chat a
we
couple of
haven't
times.
hung Moyes yet, but if it were to happen, that's the guy I'd like to see, as well as Neil, obviously.
Yeah. That's Anton. That's got to be Anton.
Yeah, God.
Brilliant. Oh, great. I love it. Okay, so let's change the subject a little bit. Oh, hang on. What are we talking about here? Wait a minute. Whoa. Right. What birds are going squawking in the background, Kieran?
Oh, man, there's all sorts in this yard, Sharky. There's cockatoos, there's Indian miners, there's rainbow lorikeets.
I've
Uh,
seen a cockatoo at West
magpies.
Ham recently as well. Um, um, Budgies, Sharky, apparently. Happy Hammer, says.
Yeah, well,
Apparently
don't,
they're
yeah. No, I mean, they are from Australia, Bud regards, mate. But we don't get any round here, budgies. There's none, no. A lot of magpies. And they're a bit different, the magpies here, to the European ones.
yeah,
They do make a nice noise. So it could be
yeah,
them.
yeah.
All quiet now, though.
Actually, Anton makes a really good point here. Neil, do you think that, or reckon that Benny's chance is now that Cornet has picked up an injury?
Yeah, that's a point. Possibly.
Yeah,
Possibly.
yeah. But he's favoured 4-0 over there rather than Ben
Yeah.
Rama in the last couple of games, and that's really frustrating because clearly Ben Rama's better suited for that job.
I just Well, the thing is, you have got the Anderlecht game, and I'd imagine Ben Rama will be starting that, and as there could be a few others, whether it be Sue Fowl or Young Johnson. There'll be a lot of changes for that Anderlecht game, and again, we might have to see if Ben Rama starts in that, how well he does, and maybe he'll
Yeah,
make a case for playing against Fulham.
yeah. I have lost that bloody comment. There it is. It's a mile away. Jesus, what time was that? 11:26. Right, it's only 9 minutes ago. It's not too bad. No, 14 minutes ago actually. Right, okay. Let's get through and see if there's any questions. Anything with an oi or question mark or anything. I can't see anything like that at all. Right, okay. So right, okay. I'm gonna step things up just a little bit. Right, this new section I've just created tonight and Anton has approved. Wind your neck in. Right. What is bugging you this week? Right. What is bugging you about the club this week? Now, for me, right, it's okay, Kieran. I would like your view on this as well, please. And those of you in the chat, feel free to join in. For me, I'm sick of people calling for Moyes' resignation or his sacking. I'm sick of it. Right? It may be the fact that it's required, but it ain't for me or for you or for Jack or John or Peter or Mary or whoever to say it. Right? And it just, I'm thinking, how is it that we all tend to think that we know better than the club do? So that's me. Now I'm winding my neck out. Now I need to have my neck wound back in. So what are you going to say to me, Kieran?
Yeah, I'm not standing like I said. I've never been Moyes in or Moyes out. I just go by what I see on the pitch. But I can understand why people are frustrated with it now. I really do, because it isn't just beginning of this season, and it was probably last few months of last season where we weren't performing. He kept his tactics of same old, week in, week out, and regardless of the form of players, he played them, and he's continued with that this year. I can see why people are frustrated with him. Now, like I said, the Wolves game changed that a bit. I want to see where we go from here. It's one game. It's one game. We changed it. It worked to a point, but we've got to continue that, and we've got to continue playing well. We need Soucek, we need Bowen, we need Rice, all of them performing at their best. And Skamaka, I'll say, if we play him right, you could see his link-up play with Bowen was cracking. It was really good at times.
Yeah,
and
really
I'm
well.
hoping that we're now seeing maybe what we've got. But the ball's in Moyes' court, isn't it, to change them fans' opinion of him and get us winning again and getting us playing good football and scoring goals.
Yeah,
And hopefully we're on the road.
very well wound in, sir.
So I'm not too
I
bothered
like
about
this comment. I like this comment here. Is there going to be Bert and Ernie shirts? That ain't a bad idea, is it? Ain't a bad idea. Oh dear. What's bugging Happy Hammerhead is HH Hammerhead. Oh dear. We could be starting fights here and all sorts.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Sharky. Hammerhead said that he felt that Paqueta looked like Ali G. Look, he says Paqueta looks like Ali G. And Sharky, after he said that, was they are Ali G West Side, whatever that means. So
The West Side massive.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Oi, oi. I've got an oi, oi question here. The fact that pathetic wall is to stay. Right, yes. Let's talk about that. That's something that's winding up Happy.
What?
That stupid wall between the away supporters and the home supporters, right? Now, it's only on one side of the away section. And it's ridiculous. As you look at it from the pitch, if you're looking at the away section, it's on the right-hand side. But there is a sort of like a gap there. I'm not sure if it's actually a stairway or steps or whatever. It must be. But there's actually a gap there, and then the home section starts. I would say it's probably about 4 to 6 foot wide. The gap, maybe a little bit more, and they've decided to build I don't know what it's made of. I'm assuming it's like plywood and stuff, but they built this wall and they've covered it in claret, whatever, paint or whatever. But it's about 2 foot wide, 3 foot wide, and it goes up so that when you're and it goes up at the angle with the slope of the stadium, so you can't actually from the home side you can't actually see the away supporters. But
Right.
if you go about 8 rows away from the wall, 8 columns away from the wall, not rows, columns. If you go about 8 seats along, you can see the far end of the away supporters. So the further around the stadium you get, you can see them. I kind of get it. It's sort of segregating. But that's a rather extreme segregation in this day and age.
Yeah, obviously it's to stop the abuse flying back and forth, isn't it? From them people at the end of them roads.
Yeah,
So
and
that's what it did.
I think it's also kind of does prevent some missiles being
Yeah,
exchanged as
exactly.
well.
The abuse and the bottle throwing, your plastic
Yeah,
water bottle gets lobbed over the thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the idea of it.
But they usually have a row of stewards down every other seat,
Yeah, but
on match day. Well, they used to have anyway.
I'd be throwing my bottle at them myself.
You soppy sods. Oh dear. Peter Jones is in now. Thank you for joining us, Peter. I wanted to say hello to you a few minutes ago, but I clearly forgot. Agree, Budgie. It's chat killer and boring as. Yeah, that wall. It's dreadful. It's dreadful. Right, you can stop that right now, Sharky. He says he thinks Bert and Ernie were more than friends. Stop that. That was a children's program. I used to allow my twins to watch that. Bert and Ernie. Black Country Hammer, BCF. Good evening to you, sir. By the way, Kieran, let me know when you need a countdown to skip out, bud. Because I know you've got things to do today. Bearing in mind that it's about 9:15 in the morning for you now. Right, so I clicked on the wrong one. My apologies. Daniela says, right, question. Fed up with the short-termism of the football fans, like one bad result, let's change things. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at as well, Daniela. Okay, I can understand that if a certain player's not doing the job you expect him to do, you might change him for a player that you expect to do the job better or equally as well than your expectation. That's what I meant, not than the failing player you're replacing. I can understand that, and I can understand that if that's wholesale throughout the team. If I'm honest with you, I really can understand if a manager stands in the changing room at the end of a game and goes, I saw fuck all from you lot today. None of you lot are starting the next game. I'm going to use my alternative 11. Do you know what I mean? I could understand that from a manager. But like,
look,
what I don't understand is when if it's clearly down to the personnel on the pitch, that the fault is automatically the managers. I've never really liked that train of thought. I've always thought that, first and foremost, it's the guys out on the pitch that need to stand up and be counted, rather than the manager immediately. Yes, the manager may have got it wrong picking the personnel he did, but the guys that he did pick have got to step up as well.
Right, it's like anything. Like if you've got a team of great players, whatever team that may be, and they're not performing and not winning, it ultimately comes back to the manager, because there's enough talent out there for you to be winning games or playing well, and if you're not, well, all eyes go to the manager. That has to.
Yeah. Happy Rat says, look, I'm the shortest fan there is, so it's difficult for me to see the away fans anyway. And they put that stupid wall next to me. I thought, actually, I'm one to gossip or anything, but I heard the story that she couldn't even see over the back of her seat. But, that's not for me to comment on. Right, so there is some. Right, I'm going to skip out on some of this stuff here because it's. Oh, look, Vinay's in the house. Hello, Vinay. Vinay, sorry. How are you, sir? Moyes won't be sacked, but can't help thinking this squad needs an attacking manager. I also think Areola wished he went to Fulham. Also, don't like DM's attitude. Benny Moyes is a bit odd. Yeah. All right, okay. Valid points, all of them. That's what you're saying. Right, okay. Right, let's go back into here. Oh no, hang on 1 second. Where the hell? There it is. Turn that off. Go back into here. Right, we're going to do another section. We've had a little wind your neck in. Let's talk about tomorrow. Let's have this. Oh, and there it is. See, I've gone and pressed on the wrong thing again. Let's talk European football. But before we do talk European football, I just want to give a mention to the people, the organisation that we're doing this show in association with, Old School Hammers, in association with Old School. I do love that piece of music in them videos. It's great, isn't it? And we have that piece of music because 007 was unavailable. Right, okay. So let's talk about some European football then, Kieran. Second season in a row, we're able to talk about European football.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shag me sideways with a broom handle. That is incredible. Right, so tomorrow we have Anderlecht, a former European Cup holder, the Cup Winners' Cup, as it was back then. A team that beat us in the final.
Yeah.
Which was very painful. as I said to Gatesy earlier on, I was only 14 at the time, around about the same age as yourself, Kieran.
Yeah,
I don't remember
16.
too much about the game. I don't even think I was able to watch it. I don't
Yeah.
think I don't even
I think that's the game that
think I was
Frank
able
Lampard
to.
injured himself, didn't he, and gave away a goal. He had an injury. Pretty
Hmm,
sure that was the one. Yeah, they done us in
yeah,
the end.
but
But a good side at the time.
yeah. As I said, all I can remember really about that moment is that I was still at school, obviously, 14 years old, and back then, in the 70s and early 80s, there was really only a handful of teams that anybody in Crawley supported. It was mainly really Chelsea, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Brighton, and Manchester United. I didn't know any Liverpool supporters until I was about 19, 18 in Crawley, any Crawley Liverpool supporters. I didn't know any. There might have been some, but I didn't know any, you know.
Mm. That
But
was
a
fun.
majority of my mates at school were either Chelsea or West Ham, really, because at my school, um, it, the area of Crawley that I grew up in, Tilgate, was one of the first phases of the new town when Crawley was built into a new town.
Mm.
Um, and so a lot of the guys from London areas were offered the chance of working in our new factory estate, as it was called back then. Um, and so a lot of the families were from various areas of London, mainly the East End and the West End, really, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's where most of the bombings took place during the war. So, like a lot of people were displaced. They were building houses as fast as they could, but in the early 50s, they went, right, we're going to build these new towns. It's a lot quicker, it's a lot easier. And that's what they did. So
Yeah.
a lot of my friends were West Ham fans, and when we lost that final to Anderlecht, as I said, I don't remember the game. I just remember half a dozen of my mates and me walking around the corridors at school and that, kicking, waste paper bins over and things like that because we were just so pissed off, absolutely, really pissed off,
Yeah.
you know.
But
And to be
it
and
was
to be
another good
beaten by the
period.
Belgians was really painful for us, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a good period though for West Ham. We, went and won the FA Cup in '75, and then get to the final of that. It was a great little period for us, and
Yeah, yeah.
under John Lyle, it was yeah, we done really well.
Look,
And
listen, I
not
was
like
never
I
told.
went to St Bonaventure School, which was affiliated with West Ham, really, because and most of I'd say the majority of people in St Bonaventure were West Ham supporters. It was only a 10-minute walk from the ground, and
Yeah, yeah,
I mean the players that came out of that school that made it professionally is quite impressive. Like I remember John Chidozie being there. I went to school there with Henry and Chris Houghton, who ended up playing for West Ham, playing for, manager of Tottenham, manager of Newcastle. And I think
Brighton.
Jermaine Defoe came out of there as well. And
Yeah,
there was loads of others too,
yeah.
and
You've never mentioned that to me before. Do you know that?
no, haven't I? No, I think I might have done.
Only
I
every
didn't
time we
make it out of
bloody
there,
talk.
Gazer. I didn't make it out of there professionally. I was too busy going to West Ham in the away games to play football. I was too busy watching it.
And ironically, I believe also Anton's dad graduated from
Yeah,
that school,
yeah,
also,
Mr.
didn't he?
Jim Baker. More to the point. He's the fuel in the ground. Yeah, he went there, and I'd imagine, knowing his sort of his age, I think I arrived at St Bonaventure's as he was leaving,
Right.
graduating as they call it now. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, and Father Howard was still the headmaster when Jim had it was there, and when I was there. So there you go.
All right. Okay.
And he was football mad. I know we call it Father Howard. I think he was a Franciscan monk, Mate, it was football mad. When I went for the interview with my mum into the old headmaster's office, this is
Yeah.
him. And there were trophies all around the room. And he just, first thing he said to me, he said, "Look, you like football, son?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, you'll love it here." He didn't there was no talk
Brilliant.
of academia. He didn't care about that. He said, "Do you like
Ah,
football?" "Right, you'll love it here, mate. You'll be right."
yeah. Fucking
So we were,
brilliant.
and we used to, Budge, we used to get, Pop Robson come to us for a couple of hours, and Bobby Moore and Frank Lampard and Harry Redknapp. They used to come to our school to do a couple of hours with the kids. There must be, there's something going on with the connection. And any good players
They didn't have Jimmy
actually
Savile
went
driving
to
them, did they?
Huh?
They didn't have Jimmy Savile driving them there, did they?
No, lucky enough, he came from me. He went to the Leeds schools, that fucker. So we were right, mate. We had the
Yeah.
good ones.
But
That was great. Because you imagine that,
yeah,
you're
no.
at school, you're on the
At my
field.
school, it was rugby orientated, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
weirdly enough, the educational department saw fit to invest in some new schools in Crawley. So there were 3 schools that were designed and built by a particular architect and whatever, and they're all very similar in design and shape and function. Now that was Ifield Community College, which used to just be called Ifield School, Thomas Bennett Community College, which used to just be called Thomas Bennett School, and the other one is over at Maidenbower, and that is called Oriel High School. Now, all 3 of them are very similar anyway. So now that Thomas Bennett, my old school, which used to be rugby orientated and athletics as well, especially for the girls, the athletics was more directed towards the girls. After we left and the school was torn down and they built the new school, Chelsea put an academy in there. And now they don't play rugby at the school at all.
Yeah.
If
There you
they
go.
if they want to play rugby, if any of the kids choose to play rugby, they have to join an after school club for it at that school. I mean, not that I was that keen on rugby. I hated it. I mean, I used to get out of PE as often as I could when it was rugby. Yeah, I mean, like Chelsea now have one of their academies there. So
Yeah.
now all round the estate, and where I live, and like within a few couple of miles from the school, you'll just see kids varying from 8 to 16 walking around in blue Chelsea tracksuits. You know,
Yeah, money talks, mate.
there's loads of them. There's loads of them. Honestly, I think the academy down there is probably 300 strong. It's
Wow.
got to be. It's got to be 300 strong. I mean, you got like 5 different age groups down there as well, and each of them have probably got 30 kids involved. So what's that? 3 5s, 150, and then you've got like all the well, there's all the coaches and all that. I just have no idea. I'm guessing, but I just know that everywhere I go, I see kids in blue tracksuits. It's
At
just
the old
ridiculous.
Upton Park there, Budge, there was a
Yeah,
school. There was a school next to the ground, which ended
yeah,
up. Yeah, and we had a big rival with them. St Bonaventures. That school was called St John's. It was in. They knocked it down in the end, and
uh-huh.
West Ham took it over. I think it was that part of that big car park and that. My mates went to St John's, and I
All right.
remember there was an incident at something between St Bonaventure's boys and St John's.
Yeah,
So one lunchtime, we came storming. About 50 of us came storming down Green Street and started
yeah,
climbing the wall into St John's, right, to have it. And my mates were in St John's because I used to go to primary school with them. And they said, "Fucking hell." He said, "Oh." all of a sudden, all these bodies are coming flying over the wall. We just fucking legged it, right?
Oh,
But
we
yeah,
had
we got
rivalries with
the
schools
ground.
around here and all, mate.
Oh, God.
There was Thomas Bennett and Ifield. They were two bad ones. Holy Trinity. We never really had much of a beef with St Wilfrid's, but that was because they were Catholic and they didn't want to know, really, to be fair.
Mate, we were Catholic. Believe
I
me,
know,
we had 800
I know. Yeah, but it's
St
a different,
Bonaventure,
it's a completely different
800 boys.
animal down here, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
It's
Now,
like
it's
a
800
different,
boys strong. That, so, and a lot of St
yeah,
Bonaventure boys were Canning Town lads too, you know. They're
yeah,
all a bit
yeah.
tasty. They're all, some of them are pretty tasty. You know what I mean? So,
Fat,
yeah,
Fat
anyway. Anyway,
Gitchenko's in the building. The average age of Vietnam soldier was 90. So West Ham should not be scared to blood youngsters. Facing Spurs is easier than fighting Viet Cong in the jungle. Moyes should be asked about this. I don't think he will find that's relevant, if I'm honest with
yeah.
you, Fat Gitchenko. But very good point, and it did make me think of the song 19. And what was his name? Paul Hardcastle. That was the fella. Old boys at St Bonaventures after the all
Yeah,
girls in
Robert,
Angela's.
you're right, mate. St Angela's was just up the road from us, yeah. And that was an all-girls school, and we were an all-boys school. So yeah, we
Yeah.
used to try and bump into the girls at lunchtime and that. Robert knows. Robert knows.
Everywhere I go, perhaps I'm
Yeah.
massive, am I? Everywhere I go, is that
Oi,
what
I've
you're?
got a theory as well, geezer.
Yeah,
Right, at our school at
yeah,
St Bonds, why there were so many players that made it professionally, and in our playground, we used to there was a million windows at St Bonds, you know, and you had to play.
yeah,
You could play football, right, but you could only use a tennis ball, right, and because there were too many windows getting broken when they had the big balls. So
yeah,
big
yeah, yeah.
balls. And your skills really improve when you use that tennis ball. Your
Oh,
foot control,
incredibly.
everything.
We used to. I mean, we used to have. Sometimes we used to have like 3 periods, and we would just go into the dining hall, move all the tables and chairs to one side, regardless of what time of day it was, and we'd just get a tennis ball out and start having a kickabout in the hall. And the
Yeah,
teachers used to allow us to do it. They knew, but like we only had a tennis ball because we weren't allowed to have a full size ball.
yeah,
And as you say, we did improve our technique with the old tennis
you
balls.
do. It's amazing
Yeah,
how much you do, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
Thank you,
started doing
Hammerette.
it.
Please like and subscribe to the show,
Yeah,
chaps, and
good evening.
subscribe to the channel. Sorry, chaps.
We used to do
Thank
it
you.
in the gym as well, play with the tennis ball, but someone burnt the gym down, so we had to go back out in the yard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As I said, our school was mainly pumped up around rugby. So when we used to play football in like the playground or out on the fields in the summer and whatever, we were playing football and that, you'd never get any teachers paying any attention to you. But because where we were, our road, our school, was had a pathway down through Tilgate Park, which is a forest, basically a part of the Ashdown Forest, and the A23 used to run along another side of the village. And sometimes you'd have like I don't know, we would be playing football out on the field. You'd have like half a dozen fellas just standing there watching us play, and like teachers always used to get a bit moody and they go, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?" "Oh, we're just watching the lads play football, all that. And one day it was about I don't know, about 12 o'clock, 12:15 in the afternoon. I think it was double history in the afternoon. I don't know how, but I always used to sort of get ill on a Tuesday afternoon when I had double history. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I used to feel ill and go home. So anyway, I've walked out of the school about 12:15, just before the end of the lesson. I've asked to go to the toilet and then buggered off out of the school. And this fella's sitting there in this, I can remember it now, white Cortina Mark II. He goes to me, "Here, mate." I went, "I can't talk to you. You're a stranger." It's only about 14. He goes to me, no. He goes, "Mate," he goes, "do you play football for anybody? Like, do you play for anybody outside of your school? Do you play for a team?" I said, "Yeah, I played for Tilgate Hammers," which was a team that was around at the time. They did all right, and obvious reasons I wanted to play for them. So he said to me, "I play for Cowfold." Now, I'm 14 years old at the time, and Cowfold were semi-professional. Get paid to play as a senior team member. He said, "Look, our youth setup's pretty good. Why don't you come and train?" I said, "Yeah, I might do." So he gave me a business card, and he wrote down the address of the training field on the back of it. Well, my mum and dad didn't drive. My brother did, Kevin, and my sister did. So this one particular week, I said to my sister, "Sis, can you do me a favour and drive me to Cowfold and then wait for me for an hour and bring me back?" And she's like, "Oh, God, do I have to wait?" And I said, "Well, no, you can go to the pub. I'll come and meet you at the pub or something, you know what I mean?" She says, "Yeah, all right, I'll do that." Took me down there. The guy wanted to sign me up, basically. The long and the short of it was, this guy was related to, I want to say, Billy Bonds. I'm fairly sure this guy was related to Billy Bonds in some way, or he had some connection to Billy Bonds anyway. I'm 100% sure it was Billy Bonds that he mentioned. Anyway, so that kind of impressed me because obviously being a West Ham fan and this and that. So I went to go and play for this club for about 3 seasons till I was about 17. And during those 3 seasons, I went from left back to a left midfield and scored a number of goals. So, I was kind of on my way. Goes to training one weekend, and it was Billy Bonds. And there was Billy Bonds sitting in, I think it was a fucking Jag, actually, if I'm honest with you, sitting in a Jag in the car park chatting to this guy, this manager of ours. And I was like gobsmacked, and I was just sort of stood there like that. It's Billy Bonds. And before I could react, I mean, I'm talking about maybe a good 2 or 3 minutes. And before I even thought of reacting and going and asking for an autograph or anything like that, he was turning his car around in the car park and buggering off. But I never believed that he had anything to do with Billy Bonds until this particular day. And it definitely was Billy Bonds, definitely. Yeah, so we had this. I thought, yeah, I'm going to be good here now, and all this and the other. He fucking dropped me for every game for the rest of the season. Don't know why, but he dropped me. So I left at the end of the season and started playing for Crawley Hospital. That was probably a good move for me, actually. It was when I started getting injuries.
Yeah, he done the Ben Rama on you, mate.
Yeah, he did. He did. He did a Ben Rama on me. Love it. Love it. Right, listen, Kieran, I know you've got stuff to do, and it's like 9:15 for you now, mate. So what we'll do is we'll just quickly have a little look through the chat and see if there's anything. Oh, okay. Danielle is saying that her dad played rugby with Alison Moyet's father. Do you know who Alison Moyet is?
Yeah, I remember her well. Yeah, she was fabulous voice. Fabulous voice.
She brought about a Love Resurrection, didn't she? What a great tune that was. Love Resurrection. Oh, yeah. What was the group she was with? Hello, Lee. How are you, sir? What was the group she was with before she was solo?
Yeah, I can't remember that one.
Nah, mate. I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, but I do remember. A big boned girl.
Right. Now that is not true. Happy Amaret says she doesn't have any great stories to tell. That isn't true.
Or just won't
We
tell
know
them.
that's not true. Yeah, you just don't want to tell us. That's the one. That's the one. Right. Anything else here? Oh yeah. Oh, look, Daniela, another one. Look, she says, lived in Basildon, had a drink in a pub with the Depeche Mode boys around 82, 83. Very nice. Very nice. I've got another
Hey,
little story about that very subject. I got involved with some idiots a little while back. I say a little while back, a long while back. And my front door was smashed off the hinges and God knows what else by these idiots. So the neighbour called the police. The police turned up, took me into protective custody, and basically stuck me in this safe house down in Stenning in Sussex. So I'm in the local pub there called the White Horse, and I'm drinking in there on a Friday afternoon, about 4:30 in the afternoon. Gets up, goes to the toilet, comes back. There's a woman sitting at the table I was at, and I went, "Oh, okay, right." So I went to pick my glass up, and she said, "Oh, sorry, have we nicked your table?" And I sort of looked around. She goes, "Oh, my husband's at the bar." I went, "Oh." She goes, "It's all right, join us." She goes, "It's only me and my husband. If you're already here, sit here. He won't mind. I don't mind, as long as you don't mind." I said, "I ain't got a problem with that." So I sat down with my beer. Big hairy arm comes along, puts a glass of wine down and a beer down. I looked up, it's Bob Hoskins, the actor.
hey.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I went, "Who did frame Roger Rabbit?" He just looked at me and went, "No. No,
So,
that's
yeah,
not a
don't go
question
there.
I want you to ask me ever again, young man." And I went, "All right, fair enough." He sat down, I chatted with him and his missus for probably 4 hours, right? And during that 4 hours, he wouldn't let me buy them a drink. He just would not let me buy a drink. I mean, I offered a number of times, wouldn't have it. And then at the end of the night, after he'd had about 8 or 9 pints, and she'd had 8 or 9, maybe 10 or 12 glasses of wine, because she was drinking more than he was, more often than he was, going to the bar and that. But she'd had all these pints and wines, and he'd had all these pints. And I says, "Well, I've got to go now." He says, "Oh, where you got to go to?" So I told him the name of the road that I lived in. He said, "Oh, we go past that on our way home, don't we, love?" And she went, "Yeah, we do." He goes, "Come on, come with us." He said, We'll drop you off home." I said, "Who's driving?" Knowing full well that we're all bladdered, the lot of us, all three of us are bladdered, right? And he went, "Oh, no, she's all right. She can drive." He goes, "We're only a mile up the road." He goes, "And it's all black." He goes, "There's no lights or nothing." He goes, "We're all good. Don't worry." I'm thinking, oh, my God. So I gets in this Merc, in the back of this Merc. She's driving. He's sitting there. And then he goes, "Right, whereabouts are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm just up the next road on the left." He went, "All right." So she turns into the road. And she says, "How far up?" I said, "Oh, that white house on the right." So she pulls up outside the house. And I said, "Oh, thanks for a lovely afternoon and evening." This is about 11 o'clock at night now, yeah? He says to me, he says, "Where are you going then?" I said, "Well, I'm going back. I'm going to go to bed, aren't I?" He goes, "No, we're going to pop a couple of drinks up when we get home. Why don't you come back with us?" So I said, "Oh, I'd love to, but, my partner's in there waiting for me." Because the woman I was with at the time finished work at 10 o'clock. And I would meet her at home on a Friday night at about 11ish. He said, "Go and get her, tell her to come with us." I was like, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, what's her name?" I said, "Well, Rose." He said, "Yeah, go and get her. Tell her that, that she can come back to ours." And he goes, "Well, it won't matter." He says, "We've got fucking loads of rooms, you can crash." I'm like, "What? Are you shitting me?" I mean, like, I'm fucking binging myself. Is this real? I goes into her. she's actually asleep in bed. So I've woke her up and I've gone, Rose. She's gone, what? I said, I've met up with Bob Hoskins, the actor. She went, oh, good for you. And I went, no. He's outside in the car. He's waiting for us. He wants to take us back to their place so we can go and have a few drinks and that with them. And she went, don't be a prick, and fucking just rolled over and went back to sleep.
Yeah, miserable car. Yeah.
So I've gone out. Excuse me. I've gone out there. I said, look, Bob, I'm really sorry. Thank you so much for the offer, but I got to decline. I said, she's already asleep, and I'm actually not feeling great. But maybe next time, eh? He's like, yeah, next time. All right, no problem and all that. They drove off. I saw him one more time in that pub after that, and that was it. But yeah, what one day that was. I mean, honestly, I probably spent, well, you work it out, about 4:30 in the afternoon. We left the pub at about 10:45. I mean, that's like,
he's a boy.
8-9 hours, isn't it? 8 hours.
And he was always an actor everyone loved after Long Good Friday. Everyone.
Oh, what a film. That's probably my most favourite film in history.
It's a great film in its day.
My favourite British film ever. I like that line where he goes, you didn't happen to see anything on my razors fly past your window about 4 o'clock this afternoon, did you?
Right.
After the Rolls Royce got blown. Well, is it?
Funny
Someone's been playing Guy Fawkes with me roller, a touch of joy. He said, George in the Lido. What's fucking going on?
That geezer, funny enough, I used to drink with him. You know that his muscle.
What,
razors. Right? Yeah. I used to drink with him in South London. He knew my father-in-law who connected, and I used to drink with him there. And he's a really placid, big guy, man. He's a
nice guy. Do you know he's classically trained? Yeah, he's a classically trained actor. He learned at the Royal Shakespeare Company. That guy. I can't remember.
Good lad, really nice guy, but very placid guy.
Isn't his first name also a name that's given to women as well? Something like Shirley or Carol or something like that, I think. I might be wrong. But yeah, P. Gads is in the house. Thank you for joining, P. Gads. Yeah, it's kind of weird how things like that work out, isn't it?
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, these guys.
Yeah. Right, let's see what else we've got in the banners, and then we'll knock it on the head. Let's have a look. Let's have a little look. Questions. We've done that. And we've done that. Looks like we've done all of the little banners that we had. Okay, we'll have a quick, as it's 7 minutes until the half hour, we'll have a quick 5 minutes. Anything goes within reason. He forgot to put that in on that one. So anything goes. Someone said earlier in the chat, was it in here or was it on the Forge from Iron show I did earlier? But someone, and I think it was actually somebody that I can't remember. Anyway, they said that Lucas Paqueta looks like Ali G. Oh, that was in here, wasn't it?
It was in here. I can't see that myself, but there you go.
No. I just looked at that picture of Paqueta then, or that little clip of him, and I can't see Ali G.
Yeah, I can't think.
Yeah, no, it's not Ali G. Okay, what are you having for dinner today then? Like your main meal later tonight when you get back from doing your business?
I'm thinking of nicely cooking up some pork chops that are marinated in some honey and peppercorn. How's that?
It sounds like I'm getting myself a ticket to fucking Brisbane, son. That sounds damn good, bro. That sounds really good.
I worry it is. I feel like a beer already.
I had a lamb madras with pilau rice tonight. I've got to be honest. I'll let somebody else do the cooking again. It's only 20 times in the last 3 weeks I've had a takeaway. I've cooked once in 3 weeks, and that's the truth. I'm terrible. I get this phobia about going in my kitchen because my kids don't clean it, and I refuse to clean up after them. So there you have it. My kitchen's a mess. And I'm a single man, so I don't give a shit. I've eaten chocolate that my daughter did a terrible job of hiding in her work bag, I might add. Why would you hide anything in your work bag knowing that your mum, being Happy Amret, is likely to go and make a nice little corned beef and pickle sandwich for you and slot it into your work bag so that you've got a little sandwich when you get to work? Why would you hide chocolate in there? You just wouldn't do it. You just wouldn't do it. Average says, I said he looks a bit like Ali G. I think it's the goatee. Right, it was you, Hammerhead. A little bit like Ali G because of the goatee. All right, okay, I see it. See, I knew I was in trouble. Cheers, bud. Right, so anything you want to chat about in particular? Anything goes, mate. Anything goes.
What do you think? Well, we never got to the European thing, did we? So,
shit! No, we didn't. Should we do a little bit of European chat?
How many changes we making for this game? I'll imagine we're. I think it's going to be quite a lot.
You know, I think the only players that will be playing tomorrow that haven't been regular starters for us this year will be Dawson, Ogbono, Downs, and Lanzini. I think they're going to be the 4 players that will come in. In fact, it was Gatesy that put me onto this train of thought, I've got to be honest. He showed me a lineup that he suspected might be a possibility, and I quite liked it. He had Fornals out on the right and Ben Rama on the left. Yeah. And I said he actually likes using Fornals on the left. So I could actually see that formation, but with Fornals on the left and Ben Rama on the right, if I'm honest. But however he plays it tomorrow, I think there'll be the 4 changes. I think, as I said, not regular start.
There's going to be more than that from, say, the Wolves game, because obviously Ariola's coming in, and then
True.
Kera will sit on the bench, and it'll be Soufal or Johnson for me. I think you'll probably start with. I'm not sure if it'll be Cresswell or Emerson.
I think it'll be Emerson, if I'm honest.
I think Ben Rama will start, Lanzini will start, I think Fornals will start, and probably Antonio will start.
What about in the middle? Can you see it being Rice and Downs, or Souček and Rice, or
Souček and Downs? That's interesting.
Connor Coventry's got to come into the consideration, really, in some respects.
I think you'll keep one of them in there, goes up. One of them, Souček or Rice, will probably start. One of them, and I'd like to see Flynn Downs, whether he takes that.
Does he play Paqueta as a 10 and drop Lanzini in next to Rice?
He might play Paqueta,
He's probably done that a couple of times. Drop Lanzini in next to Rice. He's done that a couple of times.
That's a possibility too, yeah.
And it hasn't been disastrous by any stretch, No,
I think, sometimes, because we played for so long that you think that naturally you need two defensive midfielders. We don't really. We don't. We some games we can get away with one defensive midfielder and
And
be more
one
attacking.
semi-attacking, yeah.
Yeah. So
Skill,
it
yeah.
is a possibility.
Lanzini's that kind of player, though. He's skillful. He's
Yeah.
attacking minded. He has got a reasonably good defensive head on his shoulders. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't play that, but he's not going to. He's not going to. I'd like to see Kera, Zuma, Bowen, and Souček left out, says Happy. Oh, and Skamaka. Yeah, well, that's a given, mate. Skamaka isn't starting tomorrow. It'll be Antonio.
Unless he thinks, oh no, I'll give him more game time, but I can't see it with Fulham being so soon. So I can see Antonio starting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hammerhead says, don't want to start a team that's too toothless. And it's bad enough watching toothless fellas on here without watching toothless players on pitch. John North, good evening, John. Morning, even for me. Happy Amaret, thank you. And yes, I would never be abusive as I'm here for the chat and the banter. That's what we like to hear, sir. That's what we like to hear, sir. And yeah, please don't forget to like the stream, comment if you want to comment, even after the show on the comments on YouTube. Share it to your social media platforms and all of that and nonsense, and subscribe to the channel. There's even a join-in option with the channel. You can help the channel out by joining for a few quid a month. It's not an awful lot of money. And you can help out the channel with their endeavours. Right, I am going to play this little video. Just bear with me.
Yeah, I feel like dancing, putting a beer in my hand now.
Yeah, you know, or a nice drop of red, So, those of you that aren't aware, Old School FC is a clothing brand, amongst other things, but predominantly a clothing brand owned by a West Ham fan. I won't go into details about his identity as yet. If you don't know, then you will find out very soon. And if you do know, you know. If you know, you know. If you don't, you'll find out. I don't want to be talking people's names without clearing it with them first. So, but yeah, the clothing brand, Old School, you can look it up on most social media platforms, look it up on YouTube, look it up on the internet. And it is what it says on the tin. It's old school clothing. Fred Perry's, that kind of stuff. That kind of style of clothing we're talking. If you like that, I would imagine they can get you Dr. Martin boots as well if you want.
I remember being on the train with him many times.
Yeah.
In the day. So yeah, he's not young. Let's put it that way.
He's our age, mate. Yeah, he's one of us. And that's why it's called Old School, because oh God, where the bloody hell's that come from? This is doing my head in. I've just had something come up on my screen that's whirring round and I can't see anything on the right of my screen now. Yeah. Let's do that. That happens a lot. Oh, really? Right. Okay. Right. Here we go. I'm back. Oh, hello. It went black for a minute. Okay. So I've kept you now for an hour and a half. Is there anything you want to talk about, Kieran?
No, I'll just
Oh, yes.
hope we have a
Odds for the
decent win
European
tomorrow.
game.
Just I hope we
Have a little score prediction for the European.
I was thinking that. I think we can whatever team we put out, there should be goals there, hopefully. And it's hard to say. I've never, I haven't watched Anderlecht since 1975, so
Yeah.
I can only assume we got a stronger side, and we'll go and get a result, whatever that result will be, whether it be a draw or a win. But God, I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win. How's that? We'll have
That's
it.
exactly what I said earlier on when I was with Gatesy.
Yeah.
I said 2-1. I said it would be 0-0 at half time. I think the first half, both teams will.
Yeah.
Well, I said Dawson and Fornells. So,
not sure if Dawson will start. Yeah, he probably will. He
probably will.
Yeah, he probably will.
But I think if we get a nice 2-1 win tomorrow night, and then next week we bring them back to the London Stadium, that's when we can truly shaft them. You know what I mean? Grease ourselves up and truly shaft them. You know, because they've got 24,000 capacity at their stadium. There's going to be officially, I think it's about 800 West Ham, or is it 1,000? One or the other. It's not many officially.
Not even a point. A point's not a bad result away in Europe. So
no, it's not.
I'll take that. But I just hope they play well again. I hope they have a good game, and it's more positive vibes from the actual team. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be. And what I would really like to see is that every single player that steps out there in like the starting 11 and all the substitutes that he uses subsequently, I would like every single one of them to be able to walk up off the pitch with their heads held high, regardless of the result. I would like them to be able to walk off that pitch with their heads held high. They put in 110% and they've left nothing out there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think we'll be right, mate.
I think we will be all right. I think it's going to be a 2-1. And then we obviously, briefly, we lead into the weekend. We got Fulham Sunday. 3-1, I think, for us at home.
I went. I've done
if Mitrovic plays.
I've done the prediction show at Titch, and I put down. I fancy us. Just put 3 past them myself. 3-0.
Right.
Clean sheet and 3-0. That's what I'm hoping that we carry on. And we got goals. And I'll tell you this, Budge, I do believe in the near future, in the next, maybe before, the break, we're going to give a team a touch-up. We're going to give one of these, because you've got goals in Bowen, Skamaka and Antonio and Dawson. And I think we've got goals
I'm going for a 3-1 on Sunday with a Fabianski hat-trick. He's going to do what Adrian did.
Mate, if he does a hat trick of saves, I'll be happy with him.
No, I think 3-1. If Mitrovic plays, I think we probably will concede.
Yeah,
we've been a little bit slack at that recently.
Meant to be injured, so we'll see.
Yeah. Happy says she wants to see Zini in too, obviously. Yeah, of course you do. Anyone heard on the Mitrovic injury? All I know is that it's imminent. His return is imminent. Dabs, thank you for joining us. I can't actually. Oh, there you are. Look, there's one of your comments. Hello, Dabs. Thank you for coming in. And of course, usual suspect. On your own tonight, because there's usually an S on the end of that, isn't there? Usual suspects. So I'm just taking the piss. I've been drinking red wine. Right, okay. Well, look. Thank you, everybody, for commenting. We are going to start winding things down.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. It's always a pleasure chatting with everybody. We love being here. Next week, we will have hopefully a guest. I'm hoping. Just got to clear it with him, an ex-player, hopefully. And there's no secrets as to who it is, but I've got to ask him first before I announce anything. Old School Hammers next week, 11 o'clock, West Ham Network. Don't forget, set yourself a reminder when it comes up, and check out the rest of the stuff on the network if you haven't already, and have a look at the content. Right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. The subtitle of this show, as Kieran suggested last week, talking bollocks and getting away with it.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Well, sort of getting away with it.
Yeah, kind of getting away with it. We ain't been arrested yet, and we haven't been sacked by the network yet, so we might be getting away with
that
something.
next week, eh? See if we can put a one in next week.
Okay, so it will be Old School Hammers next week, 11 o'clock, hopefully with Bert and Ernie or Budgie and Kieran or whatever. But you may have 2 new presenters by next week. You never know. Listen, guys, thanks, everybody. Thank you for your chats. Thank you for your comments, the love you give, the support you give, everything that comes with it. Thanks a lot. Take care, guys. See you next time. Kieran.
All the best, boys. We're mildly massive. Come on, you guys.
Yeah. Daily inflating. Take care. Love you all.